Big glitch happened. Big glitch happened with the live streaming service. YouTube did not like what I was talking about this morning, so they deleted my very first live stream that I did today. All of a sudden, while I was in the middle of the live stream, bam, it stopped working. I was forced to turn off my phone because it would not reconnect up to the internet. And when I returned it on, usually what it does is allows you to resume your live stream from where you left off. YouTube failed. So this, again, is under the new leadership of the new CEO. We did not have these problems with Susan. Again, when I say stuff like, baby, come back, you can blame it all on me. I was wrong. Please come back, Susan. It's because the new CEO, he really doesn't know what he's doing. And under his leadership, 2 channels have been taken down. The Ani Doll Marco, this one here, and now Steve, my friend Steve, put a lot of work into this. He created the Dude's Digest, and I was ranting about this earlier today. And YouTube, the YouTube algorithm killed it. It's gone. I was saying, like, maybe we could do some cool stuff with Steve. We could do like some live streams together and stuff like that. We were thinking of doing something fun to really make it go to the next level, make all the channels go to the next level. Just like, you see a lot of the other YouTubers do live streams together, like whether it's video games or it is just technology things. I was thinking maybe Steve and I could have done a fun thing where I play the dummy role because I am a dummy, and he would maybe teach me how to do technology over live stream and stuff like that, like Top Tech Boy does and stuff like that. And sometimes you see like Original Dobo and Ken Heron, or Original Dobo and Eddie Nunez, and cool things like that. We thought we might do something like that, but again, the second he created the channel, I was able to see 2 of his videos. I was not smart enough to document it because I didn't think that the YouTube algorithm was going to be as evil to my friends as it is to me. And so it killed this channel. It's not only is it demonetized, but it is no longer available. It's shadow banned completely. You can't even type it in. Just like you can't type in the Ani Doll Marco anymore. It goes somewhere else. If you do that, it probably leads you to Marvimation, it leads you back to Marco Reviews channel. So you can't find Ani Doll, or you cannot find the Dude's Digest anymore either. So that is just YouTube at its worst. And again, the new leadership just came in, supposed to do something good to make it better. But actually they've made it a whole lot more buggy and worse. You have issues with the setup of the live stream. When you start the live stream every morning, now it's a pain in the butt. It used to be just normal. Like, I could just type in things, press the button, put it into the normal format that I like, and it would just work. And now it's fiddly. I'm trying to get used to it. Sometimes I mess up the thumbnail at the beginning of the thing. So it's just a new headache that I really didn't need in my life. And it's here. It's great. It's really great. So the other thing that I want to talk about today is how that pesky, conniving son of a gun, Marco Reviews, was wanting to do something fun for the community here. So I did another one of the giveaways. In the past, they were much better liked and stuff. Sometimes people that received the gifts bother to show up and like and subscribe to the channel. This time when I did it, apparently the hatred has gotten really bad against me in the community. So again, I'm here in Irvine, California, Woodbridge, as a local Google guide here. See this Woodbridge Association, Village Association, the stuff that I always show you guys. And so I thought I'd give something to the YouTube community here. Give something. So I gave away 2 monitors. One nice Samsung monitor about this size, so it's not the biggest, but it's pretty good. I used that to work. So it was my front runner. It was my basically I did a grind on that when I was working back in the day. I was doing all the digital projects, so I bought that was really good monitor back in the day. So I gave that one away, and then I also gave away an even bigger, a larger screen TV. I think it was even more modern than the Samsung monitor. Luckily, they kept the Samsung monitor, and they considered the big screen TV to be junk. Again, explained in the past, I worked for this company, Glasgow Animation, back in a long time ago, and over there we had TVs, we had monitor screens for the thing, and it was the one that I was using was so bad and old and broken that it flickered. It flickered. It was like a box, like a cube, and it was terrible. So I replaced that. We talked about that a while ago because it was damaging my eyesight. But the thing that I gave away was tested. It was working. You guys have seen it on this channel. My daughter and I were playing on a PlayStation 3 that my very kind neighbor had given us, using that monitor, and we would have kept it and probably used it for another 10-15 years because it was perfectly fine. But I thought I would donate it to my community here in Irvine, California, Woodbridge, as part of the Market Reviews giveaway, and it was rejected. Again, mind you, back in the day when we were in Glasgow, my friend and I used to share a room together, a little like a rental place, whatever. And I remember that we found this old TV monitor outside in the cold. It's Glasgow and stuff. And it was one of those box or cubish looking TVs. It wasn't even the kind of beautiful TV that I was donating to this community here. And we picked it up and we brought it inside, and that was our TV for as long as we worked in Glasgow. My friend James and I. It took two of us because it was so heavy, those old TVs, to bring it back to our apartment, and we enjoyed it. But when when you try to do a giveaway in a place where people show up at the tennis club in their Maseratis and top end Mercedes, Beamers, and all that stuff, that they might think that it's not as good as when we had it back in the day. Like again, we appreciated an old monitor that somebody had just put outside, considered to be trash. We picked it up. It became our TV for the amount of time, almost 6 months that we were. I don't know if it's 6 months or possibly a little bit longer, because I think James stayed and worked at Glasgow Animation for a bit longer than I did. I had to leave because of carpal tunnels and my back was a mess, and basically I couldn't physically continue the job. But yeah, he was able to stay on a little bit more. I'm sure that he kept the TV. So we're living in a place which is pretty ungrateful. But again, what do you expect, right? You're considered to be trash because you don't have the latest and greatest things. We drive a Toyota. We drive a Toyota here. A typical, perfectly adequate RAV4. But everyone else is showing up with their like Land Rovers and Lamborghinis, you name it. I haven't seen a Bugatti Veyron before, but I have seen plenty of Ferraris. So of course, a flat screen TV, is not something that you would like. But what I did not expect was them to do this. They went out of their way to take the TV that I'd given away, because again, there's a really nice tennis place here, tennis courts, and there's a nice place where I do all the giveaways, and it was missing a TV, so I thought maybe we could have a Woodbridge TV in there for people. If they brought their laptops or whatever, they could just hook it up and enjoy having a larger monitor to work with instead of the smaller ones, because that's the only thing that was actually missing in this like sort of foyer, or like it's almost like a little classroom area. It's got a little kitchen and everything, tables and chairs, and people use this as a community center. So I thought, what if I left them a nice TV? People could use it. for whatever reasons. But it was so rejected. It was so rejected that they came up with this. You can tell this is not my writing. It's too nice and neat and beautiful to be my writing. But they basically said that my channel is Junk Dumper Reviews. That's what they renamed it. So when I talk about there being internet hatred is a real thing against content creators, as opposed to fame. Is internet fame a real thing? It's not really. If I walk around Woodbridge and I ask anybody, do you know of Davey 504? It's a brilliant channel. One of the channels that I promote all the time. He's got a platinum play button that he turned into a fantastic bass. He's all about the bass. He's the Sylvester Stallone of bass. But if you walk around Woodbridge or anywhere else in the world and you say, do you know of Davey 504? Nobody knows Davey 504 because internet fame is not a real thing. But haters of content creators are everywhere. And now they're even in Irvine, California, Woodbridge. As your local Google guide, I must stress that this is a thing. Because as I said before, they brought this back. They put a plastic bag on top of the monitor that I gave away. Again, that's the kind of monitor that you find in local bars, at the airports, stuff like that. So it's perfectly adequate for people to watch TV on those things at the airport or the local bar. It's not beneath them there. But if you try to donate it here in Irvine, California, Woodbridge, they consider it to be junk. Because that's the community. And not only that, they also made an extra inside joke. Because you see it says dudes wipes. That's probably an extra dig and insult towards my good old buddy Steve. So not only did they call my channel the Junk Dumper Reviews, which is a pretty catchy name. I probably will rename it that way. Just to make them happy, because that's the kind of following I have. And then Dude Wipes to show how they just wanted to put the last nail in the coffin of my friend's brand new channel, The Dude's Digest. So that didn't even get a chance to be around for like two or so days. After that, it got canceled. So anyway, do you like YouTube today? Is it better with the new CEO? I'm just going to let you guys answer that question yourself. Under his leadership, Ani Don Marco canceled. The Dude's Digest canceled. Under his leadership. We have this happening here. And this, wow. Again, as I said before, I don't care about myself. I'm old midget battle axe. I've been insulted. I'm used to all of it. I've heard it all. And we don't like the clothes that you wear. We don't like how you look. Your nose is huge and pointy. You've got a unibrow. You're short. You're fat vegan. Gimpy legs, ugly looking legs. You walk around like a what was the insult I got? You walk around like a penguin, penguin from the movie Batman. So, just throw on more. Just keep going, it's fine. I'm used to it. I'm a battle axe man. I got a heart like the truck, like that country song. So I'm used to all the abuse. But what I didn't expect is the abuse to, be brought forward towards my friends. So the fact that they went after Steve, the way that they did, and they destroyed his channel. That is the worst. That is the worst, guys. Anyway, let's do a little bit of reading, because that's what you guys came here for. To read a little bit about the things that they do. The doobly-doos. I have the usual doobly-doos. But again, as I said, I've just proven to you that content creator or YouTube fame, internet fame is not a thing. What is the thing is hatred. Hatred towards content creators is a thing. And yeah. So luckily this kind of thing happened to me and not some, imagine if it had been one of your children one of your boys, one of your beautiful boys, one of your beautiful girls had created their own YouTube channel and they wanted to do a giveaway, and they found this kind of thing, this kind of thing done to them. Imagine how they would feel. It's not a big deal. Again, as I said before, I was a piece of trash. When I went from Sicily to Milan, because they don't like up north. They don't like people from the south. So I was a piece of trash there. I continued to be a piece of trash when I moved to America. Finding jobs was a big deal, really hard. Under a visa, under a student visa, it was pretty much almost impossible to find a decent job. Then I made it to green card holder. I thought maybe with a green card, it'd be easier to find jobs. It was not. Now I'm a full-on, full-blown American citizen with an American passport. Still hard to find jobs. So it's not about me. It's not about what I do. It's not about how I dress. It's not about any of that. It's about how people view me. And so I was trash. I was trash back in the days when I was in Milan, when people were like, from girls that I grew up with, you should go check out the best place or the fanciest place and buy yourself some decent clothes. And the same kind of thing is going on over here. You do giveaways and they're rejected to the point where they rename your channel Junk Dumper Reviews. Again, this is probably something that it's pretty catchy. Junk Dumper Reviews is probably the way that I'm going to rename Mark Reviews. From now on, I'm going to change the channel to Junk Dumper Reviews. It's pretty catchy. So with that said, as I said before, the only thing that really annoys me is that they did that to Steve. YouTube made him feel unworthy of being on the platform, and I think that is horrible because he is, one, a stand-up kind of guy. He's done some really cool things. He's helped me out in my projects. He creates some really cool technology. He is a real coding professional that works in the field. And for YouTube to reject him like that, that is deplorable at the highest levels. Let's read. Let's read. Investment management, a science to teach or an art to learn. Let's see if I can do this. This is a little bit wild today. It's nice. It's nice. The weather is beautiful. So today I can wear my nice, look at that, fancy pantsy. The fat vegan with a horrible nose, unibrow, that walks like a penguin because he's got gimpy legs, that you all love to hate on, is right here. Enjoying a nice book reading. So we'll do that. We'll do that right now. As another buddy shows up in their, what is that? That looks like a fancy top-end Tesla. That's all you see, people showing up for the tennis club in their Maseratis and Bugattis. Not Bugattis. I said there were no Bugattis, but I've seen a few Lamborghinis and Ferraris here. Anyway. So where do we get to? I think we got to, these comments apply to students who will seek a career as, for example, a portfolio manager, as well as to PhD students who aspire to becoming quants, for example, on systemic management team, in risk management, or in trading execution. The tendency is for the current generation of PhD students to be excessively focused on technical details, on prowess in discovering subtle profit opportunities in finance markets. This tendency is exacerbated by diffusion of high-frequency trading and stories of the fortunes made in high-frequency trading, as well as in managing hedge funds. Clearly, the type of macroeconomics we are discussing is not the formalism and mathematics of general equilibrium theory. A widely held belief among our sources is that much economic reasoning must remain qualitative. Professor K, 2007, commented that rather than make sharp predictions, perhaps the best that we can do is to identify quantitative regularities and patterns in events, which, if we accept our inability to make sharp predictions, can allow us to gain much in the way of useful knowledge. He wrote, "We will never know what an exchange rate will be 2 years from now, but we can look to purchasing power and capital flows for guidance. One aspect of macroeconomics thinking that should be emphasized is the recognition that economies can move through different states. So, understanding and forecasting the transition to and from different states is vital in asset management." Commenting on the need for more macroeconomic reasoning, Évariste Lefebvre, 2012, CIO and Chief Economist of the Americas at Natixis Global Asset Management, wrote, "Macroeconomic views or insights should replace predictions because as the portfolio manager industry focuses more on risks, it has to accept a more uncertain world in which regime shifts can only be assessed by a mix of judgments and non-quantitative macro markets analysis. In a non-linear world, adaptation is the key word. From the point of view of modeling, identifying economic states is quite challenging. It requires a special type of reasoning because introducing economic states requires long time series and can easily produce an explosion in the number of parameters to be estimated. Another aspect that argues for greater attention being paid to macroeconomics is the growing role of governments in economies and markets. Professor Chang remarked regulation and different levels of government's intervention are applied in different countries. The role of policy is very important both in crisis avoidance and recovery. Indeed, sources commented that in the wake of 2007-2009 financial crisis and ensuing Great Recession, the increased role of governments and the impact of government policy on markets have reinforced the need among students of macroeconomics reasoning. Jaap van Dam, the Dutch pension fund PGGMS, has the head of strategy and research, said, "If you look back at the past 30 years, the economy was largely independent of the political picture. But now, if you look at the economy, it is especially the political economy that one must look at. It goes beyond the Fed's quantitative easing. You must look at free trade and its effects." Mr. Van Dam added that because of the need to protect their economies and jobs, governments may be forced to abandon many of the tenets of today's dominating economic thought, including free trade. This comment takes the discussion beyond macroeconomics in the direction of political economics. Saker Nusseibeh, 2012, CEO and head of investment at Hermes Fund Manager, remarked that for decades, asset managers have ignored the political landscape, but said that doing so is no longer possible. Dr. Nusseibeh believes that increased conflicts and an era of politically motivated economic intervention mean that politics and economics are so intertwined that we can no longer study the two in isolation. Asset managers, he argues, must understand what the changing political environment means for the asset classes they invest in. Another compelling reason for reinforcing macroeconomic teaching in the curriculum is the fact that, in the end, the economy drives financial markets. Professor Leo remarked, macroeconomics and microeconomics are the foundation rock of investment management. The markets cannot stay disconnected very long from the actual state of the economy. When financial markets follow paths disconnected from the economy, witness the recent housing bubble in the United States, the way is paved for a crisis. A disconnect between economies and financial markets generally implies the financial profits are being created artificially, thus creating a situation of instability. A historical perspective on macroeconomics, although our sources generally considered the teaching of macroeconomics to be a fundamental to investment management, many noted that simply reinforcing macroeconomics in the curriculum is not sufficient. Sources also mentioned the need to teach a historical perspective on macroeconomics. Robert Schiller, 2010A, professor of economics at Yale University, wrote, "The ephemeral nature of macroeconomic models is, I feel, an essential problem with the subject matter. Mainstream macroeconomics seeks simple ways of thinking about highly complex phenomena that cannot really be taken apart and studied in a systematic way. The models will always be being discarded and reformulated for the reason, as economic events make it seem urgent to change the assumptions of the models to reflect elementary reality. As teachers of macroeconomics, we have to live with that reality. I think that means that we have to respect alternative ways of understanding macroeconomics and that we keep a long historical perspective on the history of economic thought. For me, alternate views that may or must be incorporated into our teaching include those promoted by the other social sciences, psychology, sociology, political science, and anthropology. For me, maintaining a proper perspective on alternative views means also incorporating historical analysis. Real historical analysis, such as that which proceeds in our history departments into our teaching about economics. For me, too, we also must keep in view the fundamental importance of institutions, our established organizations, practices, and laws, and remind our students that these must be taken into account before judging any economic model. As we have had occasion to mention previously, economics is not about studying laws of nature. It is about studying the behavior of an ever-changing human artifact. By understanding how economic behavior changes in the past as different economic structures materialized, students gain a deeper and broader intellectual perspective on today's economic thought. This brings us to what sources had to say about the relevance of considering other social sciences, starting with the history of financial markets and the history of the economy, economics, and economic thought. The history of financial markets. Okay, that's the next thing that we're going to talk about. So together with the need to reinforce the study of macroeconomics, the subject matter most frequently mentioned as missing from the most curricula for future investment professionals is the history of finance and of financial markets. Teaching the history of finance and of financial markets, sources believe would give students a long-term perspective. Russell Napier, author of The Anatomy of the Bear, 2009, and lecturer on the history of financial markets at Edinburgh Business School, commented, "Financial history gives you a range of the possible. It gives you rules in the same way that any sport has rules. The rules are the way that markets have worked, which, as in sports, narrow the outcomes but still leave room for numerous different outcomes. The need for aspiring investment professionals to study the history of financial markets was recognized by the CFA Society of the UK 2011 in a report that castigates financial amnesia among market players and regulators. So castigates as in smites or punishes the amnesia, the financial amnesia among market players and regulators. The report argued that such financial amnesia causes risk to be mispriced, bubbles to develop, and crises to break. Panagora's Dr. Chen said, if one thinks finance and economics are to some degree a social science, then the study of history is an integral part of education. This is especially true for an investor. For instance, if one reads This Time is Different by Carmen Reinhardt and Kenneth Roghoff, 2009, then one might have second thoughts about market equilibrium. If one reads Lords of Finance, The Bankers Who Broke the World by Liaquat Ahmed, 2009, one would have some understanding of the effects of monetary policy after financial crisis better than any model can provide. Another example is the low volatility phenomenon, which is one piece of empirical evidence against the capital asset pricing model. Fisher-Black, together with others, actually discovered the low volatility anomaly in the early 1970s, soon after CAPM was conceived. In arguing for adding a section on the history of the economy and financial markets, the finance program's Professor Leo remarked, we can learn many insights from past crises and disasters, and these events also provide a wonderful illustration of the importance of key concepts, such as proper asset and liability management and the impact of market illiquidity. Crises such as long-term capital management and the Asian crisis were not so long ago, yet very few, probably fewer than 1% or 2% of my executive education students were working in finance at that time. If they did not live through it, then we need to show it to them. Studying the history of financial markets also helps students understand the effect of financial euphoria on markets. Although other elements are needed to form a bubble, in particular, excessive money generation euphoria is a key component in bubble formation. The temptation for asset managers to jump on rising stocks or industries or rising markets is hard to resist because clients may believe they are losing out on profit opportunities. The 1997-2000 dot-com bubble is a good example. Asset managers who were skeptical of the pricing of the dot-com stocks either reluctantly included these stocks in their portfolios or saw clients walk away. James Montier, 2012, a member of fund manager GMO's asset allocation team, advocated that all investors be required to study the history of financial euphoria. It never ceases to amaze me how little we learn from one crisis to another. John Kenneth Galbraith noted the extreme brevity of financial memory. The details of each bubble may change, but the underlying patterns, usually involving some nasty combination of illiquidity and leverage, do not. We had seen instruments like CDOs before. During the junk bond boom of the 1990s, they were collateralized bond obligations. Among his suggested reading list for students, Professor Logue includes Charles Kindleberger and Robert Aliber's Manias, Panics, and Crashes, 1978, and Charles McKay's classic, extraordinarily popular delusions and the madness of crowds, 1841. McKay describes the South Sea Company bubble, 1711 to 1720. Not sure how. Anyway, the Mississippi Company bubble, 1719 to 1720, and the Dutch tulip mania of the early 17th century. So using history as a source of patterns, however, requires discipline. Princeton's University professor of history and international affairs, Harold James, 2012, cautioned a simple-minded application of historical lessons does not offer self-evident patterns. The best way of thinking about history is as a way of testing conventional hypotheses, particularly when those hypotheses are being used to create market opportunities. By building false confidence, but also by engendering exaggerated despair, engendering, this word here, engendering exaggerated despair. I mean, seriously, you could use some better words, simpler words to be said. It doesn't need to be engendering, whatever. Conventional thinking offers in financial debates, as in others, a primrose path to perdition, or to be lost, oblivion. So Cleo's task is to show us that it is not the only path available. The history of financial markets was mentioned by many sources, by the need to study the markets themselves was also underlined. Alan Kerman, 2012, Professor Emeritus of Economics at the University of Aix-Marseille, third, and at the École de Haute Études in Sciences Sociales, suggested that we should rethink the nature of our courses. He was referring to economics, a really cute doggy and a couple of owners just hanging out. That's what happened. He was referring to economics, but his remarks are equally relevant to finance. An obvious idea, he said, would be to reach a course on markets, but not a course that simply describes their role as efficient allocators of resources. He suggested that such a course should encompass what markets are, how they operate, and how they have evolved. He added, it would be easy and informative to teach a course in which one would survey the role of markets in history, their different institutions, and how they function for different commodities. All right, guys, this is where we end this part of the live stream so far. We're going to continue on with a different book as we do every morning. But again, before I jump into cocktail classici e esotici, I thought I'd say one last thing about the way that I was treated by the Woodbridge and Irvine community here when they called the YouTube channel the new channels could be called Junk Dumper Reviews, is, I've been in Irvine, California, and Woodbridge and nearby places for over a decade, and I've had 3 main channels that I've worked on YouTube. And if they had been nice to me on the very first YouTube channel, where we were doing stuff with Helen DeGeneres and Sir Champ Riccofrente, which was a very famous, you guys can go check it out. He's a famous puppy, world famous puppy here, at least the mascot here for Irvine. It was a dog, a really, really good dog. Anyway, unfortunately, he passed on. I was doing some great work with him, even trying to create a cartoon series using Marvimation for that. So if YouTube back then had given me a little bit of support, if the YouTube community from Irvine, California had given me any help at all back then, I would be at the helm of 2 successful companies and possibly had enough money to put away to build that famous Bumpaflex. Back then, Bumpaflex was not really a thing. Now somebody else has used and created their own patent for something similar to the Bumpaflex. Not as cool as what I had envisioned, but still, it's being sold. What's the point of me making a new one, right? It's too late now. Just like all the 3D printing things, the whole thing of selling 3D printable RC canopies or RC shells for cars and stuff. That's already been done by other YouTubers now. They've done it better than whatever I could do. It is no longer something, there's no longer a need to be filled, right? So back then when I came up with the idea over a decade ago, That would have been nice then, right? So again, as I said before, if you don't want me to be the junk, if you don't want to be the junk dumper reviews channel, help support the channel. All it takes is a bunch of subscribers to actually subscribe. And then I can maybe convince a company such as DJI to send me things like, you know, the Inspire. But again, like when people drive up to the tennis courts here in their Maserati and you know, Vipers and Lamborghinis and all that stuff, you know, I can't be giving out TV monitors and stuff like this. I can't be giving out that kind of stuff because that's not good enough for them. So if I get enough subscribers on the YouTube channel, then I could give away some DJI products, for instance. It's like, for me, I don't mind. I mean, I can't actually fly and Inspire and stuff like that, so I have no use for it, but I can review it on the channel and then just give it away. I wouldn't mind doing it, but it has to come from you guys. You have to be the ones to support. Without the support of the community, I will continue to be the junk dumper reviews. It's you have the power. I don't. Anyway, so we are going to read the Apocat or Apocat. I don't know. Previous things that we read were Alba Rosa, Alba Alpina, Alba in general, which reminds me of Jessica Alba, one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorite, what do you call it, actresses of all time in Flipper. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, I was just getting, I was looking away because I was just getting stared upon. I got an evil look from one of the Woodbridge people here. They hate me so much. Anyway, so Apocat. Ingredienti: un avocado maturo, un quinto cucchiaio di rum, 2 cucchiai di crema di cocco di latte. Lavare e sbucciare l'avocado e dopo aver eliminato il nocciolo e aver tagliato la polpa a pezzetti, frullare nel blender insieme con il rum e la crema di cocco. Versare nel tumbler alto completando con latte freddo e cubetti di ghiaccio. Drink cocktail di origine indonesiana. Se il cocktail viene realizzato direttamente nel frutto, fa parte della categoria exotic. Se invece viene servito nel tumbler alto è considerato un long drink, quindi generalmente ogni cocktail ha il suo giusto contenitore, codificato negli anni da avere e proprie norme, ma è vero anche che talvolta si fa un'eccezione e si può utilizzare un bicchiere diverso anche se possibilmente simile. So it's basically talking about this Apocat, and based on which cup you put it into, it's going to be a long drink or an exotic drink. This is one of the least appetizing drinks to me. I mean, I look at the color, the beigeish color, and it does not look that appetizing to me compared to a lot of other drinks. But anyway, it's that time. It's about the bird, like in the Ken Heron, because we're going to talk about the albatross right here. Albatross di Massimo Angeli. So, ingredienti: 2 quarti succo di pesca, 1 quarto dry gin beefeater, 1 quarto Cointreau. Versare direttamente nel bicchiere tumbler alto con ghiaccio, guarnire con una fetta di pesca. Alfonso Red di Alfonso Cascella. So this is another drink over here. This is the Alfonso Red. 1 terzo vodka Wyborowa, 1 terzo bitter rossi, 1 terzo succo di pompelmo. Servire nella coppetta da cocktail e decorare con le 3 ciliegine rosse. So it needs a whole 3 little fruits. A lot of stuff is going on here. As people are driving away in their Lamborghinis here. We have so many Lamborghinis and Ferraris here in Irvine, California, Woodbridge. It's amazing. Anyway, Alpino di Angela de Simine. This is the Alpino. How do you make that? You need 3 noni grappa, 3 noni infuso di menta, 2 noni succo d'arancia, 2 noni sciroppo di zucchero. Mescolare gli ingredienti nello shaker e servire nella coppetta da cocktail. Decorare con frutta fresca e fantasia. Then we have the Amarcord di Renzo Antoniarelli. Wow. It's a tongue twister there for me. Di Renzo Antoniarelli. Ingredienti: 3 CL Punt e Mess, 2 CL Bitter Campari, 1 CL Williams. Servire nella coppetta da cocktail e decorare con una ciliegina al maraschino. Tomorrow we'll continue on with Amaretto Summer. There's so many good drinks out here. So many good drinks out here. So we've got that part of the thing done. Again, guys, as I said before, and I'll say it again, so much for the Woodbridge Village Association, right? Again, as I said before, it is beautiful. I will not deny. You guys have seen on my videos, in my drone flights, in my car, like videos and stuff that I've done. This is one of the most beautiful places on the face of the earth. So I love it. I love living here. I'm not going to move anywhere. But when it comes to supporting their own community and their own employees and stuff, as I said before, I struggled to find jobs when I was on a student visa in Irvine. I struggled to find jobs later when I had a green card. Now that I have a U.S. passport and I am a full-blown American citizen, I still have trouble finding jobs, or whenever I do try to find jobs, there's computer programs. The government is not coming to save you, guys. That rejects me from being part of society, right? So again, I haven't done anything misogynistic like Andrew Tate, but I'm still shadow banned. I haven't done anything outrageous like some of the stuff that Joe Rogan talks about, shadow banned. I haven't caused mass panic and issues, because of being in politics like Donald Duck has done, or Joe Obama has done, shadow banned. I really don't know what to say. Irvine, California, Woodbridge, guys. The community has spoken. Again, the community could bring support if they wanted to. They could bring support, and we could have, again, as I said before, one of the things that I'm all about is promises made, promises kept. I've always been that way. You've seen it. I promised that I was going to be doing 3D printing. I brought 3D printing to the channel. I promised I was going to learn how to do Raspberry Pi robots and stuff like that. I brought that to the channel. I said I was going to do stuff about martial arts. I brought martial arts to the channel. So if I tell you that if you support the channel, I will bring you free, basically I'll do donation. I'll give away, like if DJI sends me an Inspire, or DJI sends me a Nevada, or DJI sends me something that I can't fly because it's over 250 grams, I will review it, I will hover test it for the channel, and then I will give it away to the Irvine, California, Woodbridge community. But the help needs to come from you. So if you don't want me to be the junk dumper because all I have to offer is what I have, then make it different, make a change, walk the walk. Don't just insult the insult. And for the love of Pete, don't go after my poor friend Steve. Steve has nothing to do with it. He's just trying to make it. He's the new island boy. He's the new island boy. Why are you going after him? Anyway, it's pathetic. Human beings hide behind all their perfection, their fancy clothes, their fancy cars, their fancy mansions, and they think they're going to heaven, but they mistreat people. They think they're going to heaven. Hopefully Steve's channel is back up and running then. Maybe the CEO saw the error of his ways. Let's hope. Let's hope. Anyway, grayish black and non-dry coating indicates direct invasion of yin meridians. The 10 stages of diagnostics and therapeutics in traditional Chinese medicine. I wonder if Anidol Marco is back up. I'm not sure that one is, but somebody said that possibly, somebody said right now, someone nice said that possibly Steve's channel is back up and running. Let's hope that's true. I have no way to check it right now. I'll go home and check it. I'll ask Steve, but hopefully it's back up, because that was a mistake. That was a big mistake on behalf of YouTube. I'll also check if Anidol Marco is back online. I don't think that one is. Maybe somebody can tell me. I have no way to check right now as things go. The 10 stages of diagnostics and therapeutics in traditional Chinese medicine. So I'm going to read a little bit from this book. Grayish black and non-dry coating indicates direct invasion of yin meridians. Okay, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good to know. Hopefully that's true. I'm going to go check it when I get home. But someone very nice has said that there's a possibility that the channel is back up and working, but lost one of its subscribers. Other than that, there's more content on it. So hopefully that's true. I usually believe the people that tell me stuff. So anyway, grayish black and non-dry coating indicates direct invasion of yin meridians. Grayish black and dry coating indicates exuberant heat, damaging fluid. Grayish black, slippery and moist coating indicates cold water, counter-restricting spleen, or cold stroke in Tai Yin syndrome. Black coating, white coating, gradually turning black in the center indicates inward transmission of exogenous heat. Red tongue with black center indicates transmission and development of damp heat and pestilence, the sign of deteriorated disease. Wow, that sounds bad. Deteriorated disease. Black, dry, and cracking coating indicates extreme fire like water or extreme heat with fluid drying up. Black, slippery, and moist coating indicates yang deficiency with exuberant cold. Black and dry coating on the tongue root indicates accumulation of excess heat in lower energizer. Excuse my humanity. Man, it's got the burps again this morning. Lower part of the body, the sign of drastic purgation. Property of the coating. Thick coating indicates serious pathogenic factors or retention of phlegm dampness. Thin coating indicates slight pathogenic factors, usually in the exterior. Greasy coating indicates filthy turbidity, which is non-resolved. Slippery coating indicates cold damp or cold stroke. Loose coating indicates unobstructed stomach qi. Tight coating indicates obstructed stomach qi. Moist coating indicates non-consumed fluid, which is, I guess, phlegm, maybe. Dry coating indicates consumption of fluid. Curdy coating, the sign of internal abscess. I think they meant absence, but I don't know what that is. So anyway, white curdy coating usually indicates pulmonary access. Yellow curdy coating indicates gastric abscess. Sticky coating indicates damp heat or phlegm turbidity. Fissured coating indicates the deficiency of health, qi, or fluid inadequacy. There's a lot of stuff going on in here. I'm going to read just one more page of this, and then we'll do a little bit of French. Then I'm probably gonna have to stop simply because today, being that it's very hot and I picked a place in the sun, I think the iPhone mini is gonna have a brain fart and is gonna overheat. And we've had enough issues with live streaming today already as it is. So I may have to cut it short, but I may be able to go on to live stream further on in the day with I haven't done a real flight evolution video in a long time. Anyway, inspection of phlegm. Sticky and coagulated phlegm indicates heat phlegm. Thin whitish fluid like phlegm indicates cold phlegm. Hard phlegm. It just failed, and I got the what do you call it? The symbol of death with a little thermometer or whatever that said the iPhone is down. So sorry about that. I predicted it, and it happened. Not because I have a crystal ball, but because I could tell that I was touching the phone, and I could tell that it was about to go. So I thought, well, put the AC on, but then AC on kind of ruins the audio of the live stream. So I don't know. Anyway, I'm gonna get through the page. It says again, promises made, promises kept. I said I was gonna read one more page, so we're gonna do it regardless of how the technology is trying to stop the live stream from happening. Inspection of phlegm. Sticky and coagulated phlegm indicates heat phlegm. Thin whitish fluid like phlegm indicates cold phlegm. Hard and coagulated phlegm usually indicates heat phlegm. Yellow and coagulated phlegm, heat retention. Bluish and coagulated phlegm, cold phlegm. Excessive phlegm usually indicates excess syndrome. Scanty phlegm usually indicates deficiency syndrome. Inspection of bleeding. Pale and thin blood indicates weakness. Bright red blood indicates excess syndrome of fire. Blood streak usually indicates lung collateral bleeding. Blood clot usually indicates liver disorder. Light red blood indicates weak constitution. Bright red blood indicates excess syndrome of fire heat. Purple blood, bright purple and thick blood indicates chi excess. And dark purple blood chi loss. Black blood usually indicates blood stasis, which I guess is pretty bad if your blood turns black. Inspection of forelimbs. We've got movement of forelimbs. So cramp in limbs indicates convulsive disease. Movement with difficulty and pain in limbs indicates arthralgia or acute arthritis. Feet being too weak to walk indicates atrophy, flaccidity. Unfortunately, my dad suffered from this towards the end of his life. He suffered from atrophy and flaccidity in his feet, also because he was using interferon. Interferon is a drug that stops you from it helps you stay in remission and keeps you away from getting cancer back, from cancer returning. But at the same time, it does have some slight problems or issues that it causes, and one of those was acute. Not really acute arthritis, but he lost control of his feet for the most part. But although he had that issue, he was so strong and so stoic that he would still run with his feet, not really being able to feel the nerve endings on his feet. But anyway, so feet too weak to walk indicates atrophy and flaccidity. Then we have hemiplegia, indicating paralysis due to stroke. Limbs that are easy to bend and difficult to extend indicates disease of located in yin. Limbs that are easy to extend and difficult to bend indicate disease is located in yang. So yeah, as I said before, I was just going to read one more page of that. We can jump into some français, because why not, right? Why not? We've got a lot of stuff done today. So we'll do a little bit of French, and now I've had the AC on, so hopefully the thing that iPhone 13 mini, which really struggles in the heat, will survive. Unfortunately, the audio is not going to be as good because it's got that in the background. But there's not much I can do about it. We got to make the most of what we have with what we've got, right? It's the motto of the channel. Do the best you can with what you've got, and that is why the Woodbridge community has renamed the channel to Junk Dumper Reviews, which is going to be the new name for the channel going forward. It's fantastic. Imagine how much love. Imagine how much love. Not only don't they want to replace the wooden panels on the exterior of the house, not only do they not want to replace the door that they damaged because they installed the sprinklers incorrectly in front of the house, not only do they not want to hire me to work as facility inspector or anything else in the Woodbridge community, but they just want to just add to the thing that they do, right? Add to the thing that they do. Add insult to injury is what they do. The alphabet. You see the alphabet right here. It's A, B, C, and it keeps going. That looks a little bit like Danielian, but not quite. The stuff that they teach in Montessori schools here in Irvine, California, Woodbridge and nearby. They teach Danielian. Les accents. L'accent aigu, the E is pronounced clé, té, fait. L'accent gravé est, the E is pronounced cuillère, mère, père. I don't know. Anyway, l'accent circonflexe, which is a funny accent. This is the problem with French and dyslexic people. There's so many different accents. So it has I, E, A, O, U with a funny looking hat on top. It's the same kind of symbol that you find when you says more than or less than. But instead of being sideways, they put it like a hat on top. So it says this accent almost always represents an S that was part of a former spelling. A number of French words with this accent have a related English cognate or cognate spelled with an S. La forêt, forest. La fête, feast. L'hôpital, hospital. La cédille. So there's a special thingy that goes underneath, like a little squiggle that goes under the C's, indicates a soft C pronounced like an S in words like garçon, in ça va. Anyway, the French language is a difficult one. Activité 12. Écoutez votre professeur, devinez ensemble. Écoutez les phrases suivantes prononcées par votre professeur et trouvez l'équivalent en anglais. Suivez le modèle. So follow the model here. It says, professeur, répétez s'il vous plaît. Étudiant, étudiante, répétez s'il vous plaît. Lisez l'exercice à la page 4. Écoutez, excusez-moi, étudiez le vocabulaire, posez la question à votre voisin, voisine. En français, s'il vous plaît, travaillez avec un ou une camarade. Comment dit-on dog en français? Les devoirs sont à la page 2. So there's going to be the English translation, I guess, which is A, study the vocabulary. How do you say dog in French? Excuse me. Read the exercise on page 4. Ask your neighbors the question in French, please. Work with a partner. Please repeat. The homework is on page 2. And listen. Quite fun. So that's the exercise that you have to do. Then it says, comment ça s'écrit? How do you write that? Jouez le dialogue avec un camarade ou une camarade de classe. Substituez votre nom et le nom de votre professeur. So it wants you to do this exercise where you basically use the dialogue with a friend of yours or a student partner of yours, and you will substitute your name with the name of a professor. So this is the example they give you. Comment vous appelez-vous? How do you name yourself? What do you call yourself? What's your name, basically? Je m'appelle Claudine Rambouillet. So my name is Claudine Rambouillet. Rambouillet, comment ça s'écrit? So how do you write? How do you spell Rambouillet? C'est R-A-M-B-O-U-I-2-L-E-T. I don't know why they do it this way. It's ridiculous. It's extra difficult to read it out even. But anyway, Rambouillet. Et comment s'appelle votre professeur? And what is the name of your professor? Il s'appelle M. Picard. Picard. So Mr. Picard. Mr. Picard, just like the guy in... it's not Star Wars, it's the other one. The one with the spaceships. Anyway, you know. They have a whole series. You can check it out on Netflix, but it's not that good apparently. I can't remember the name of the... Anyway. Memory. It'll come to me maybe at some point. It's I don't know. They have cool ships. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Les nombres de 0 à 60. So the numbers between 1 and 60, I think, is what they're talking about here. So it says 0, which is 0. It's pretty obvious. It sounds like 0. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. For some reason it skips over to 40, which is 40, 50, which is 50, and 50, 50, and 60, which is 60. I don't know why they would want to teach you this way and skipping numbers, but that's what they do in the book. And then it says activité 14, combien, which means how much. Avec une partenaire, in this case they say partner instead of camarade. Comptez ce qu'il y a dans la classe. So they want you to count what's in the classroom. It says combien d'étudiants y a-t-il dans la classe? So how many students are there in a classroom? Combien de jeunes femmes? How many girls are in the classroom? Combien de jeunes hommes? How many boys are in the class? Il y a combien de chaises dans la classe? How many chairs are in the class? Est-ce qu'il y a des chaises libres available? Combien? So how many chairs and books are available, and how many in the classroom? Est-ce qu'il y a des pupitres? Combien? Are there pupitres? I can't remember what pupitre is. Pretty sure that we had it somewhere in the previous thing. Maybe it is the kind of desk or chair or something like that. Did we just go over that? Pupitre? I can't remember. Anyway, you can Google it. Don't make me do all the work for you. I don't have Google available right now in the middle of the live stream. Pupitre. It is P-U-P-I-T-R-E. Just Google it. Combien de tables y a-t-il? How many tables are there? Il y a combien de fenêtres dans la classe? How many windows are there in the classroom? Combien de portes y a-t-il? How many doors are there? Combien de lampes? How many lamps are there in the class? Anyway, so that is the French lesson for today. Hopefully you guys learned something today. You learned that I'm so incompetent that I don't know what pupitre are, but pupitre is not exactly a very useful or used word in the French language, so and I'm sure there must be other ways of saying similar things, like les bancs de classe, which is like the tables and stuff. You don't have to call it that way. I don't know what I did to the... There was a thing that I used here at some point that I put inside the book to remind me of what I should read next time, but I guess we'll just put Toyota in there. Maybe that's what I used. I don't know. I lost it. I'm lost. I'm lost, guys. Anyway, so thank you so much for dropping by as usual and watching the channel. Again, as usual, this is what a super rich community in California thinks of my YouTube channel. When I donated them a nice TV monitor. This is what they called my channel, Junk Dumper Reviews. Now I'm hoping, as a very nice person has said on the channel, that Steve's, the dude's channel, is back up and running. I'm gonna go check it up as soon as I get home. I'll check it out. But anyway, this was the channel that I received an email from my nice friend Steve, who was all distraught about YouTube destroying his channel, like they did previously to my Anidal Marco channel, the new one that I just made under the leadership of the new CEO. Fantastic. Applause. And today, when I was trying to do a review for YouTube, because YouTube sent me, how are you liking YouTube today? I wanted to put a 1-star review for it because it's terrible. It's been the worst that it's ever been since the previous leadership, and it wouldn't let me. Because it wants you to say 5 stars. It probably won't allow you to put anything lower than 3 stars. Anyway, social media is fantastic. So with that said, guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you hopefully later on in Real Flight. I haven't done a Real Flight video in a long time, so hopefully I'll see you there. But yeah, this is the modern age of technology, and what is it truly like to be a content creator in 2023 and beyond? Well, just subscribe to this channel and you'll know. And you'll know. It's a robot. It's a robot head, so it's really innocuous, if you will. It's a robot head. So it's designed to be innocuous and to be used with children around in the family, because it's what they call a wife, or it's like a wife, or what do you call it? A girlfriend replacement. So it's got 2 modalities. So they create it so that it is innocuous. You can just leave it as a mannequin as part of your thing. It's for anybody who wants to have a. It's mostly designed also for people who are also elderly and stuff. So they don't want to have a relationship anymore with regular people. It's too much of a hassle. Maybe they're having issues with memory and stuff, whatever it is. They may be suffering from Alzheimer's, and basically they will buy these products as products that they can use as somebody to talk to when they don't have anybody to talk to. They have this. The Anidal has that kind of robot, and also there's a different company that makes robot dogs that you can pet, and they've had these in nursing homes as well for the elderly. So it's basically a robot. It's a robot head. It's completely innocuous. That's why it's programmed with whoever's there will see it. Everybody in the family knows about the robot, and it's completely innocuous. That's why. Anyway, with that, I bid you farewell, and I shall see you again later on, maybe today or tomorrow. Thank you.